What if I told you that the most powerful manifestors in the world aren't the ones working hardest, but the ones who've learned to stop completely? Last week, I met a woman who changed her entire life by doing absolutely nothing for 21 days. No vision boards, no affirmations, no morning routines. She simply sat with herself and listened. And on day 22, 3 life-changing opportunities appeared without her lifting a finger. But here's what nobody talks about. She wasn't being lazy. She was learning the universe's secret language, and most people are speaking the wrong dialect entirely. You see, the universe doesn't respond to your efforts. It responds to your frequency. And if you're constantly trying to manifest, you're actually broadcasting the loudest signal possible that what you want isn't here yet. That desperation, that reaching, that constant doing. It's like speaking French to someone who only understands Mandarin. No matter how loud you get, the message isn't getting through. The quantum field operates on one principle: resonance. Just like a tuning fork vibrates at a specific frequency and causes other tuning forks nearby to match that vibration, your energetic state broadcasts a signal that the universe matches back to you. Not your words, not your visualizations, not your carefully crafted affirmations, but your actual vibrational state in this moment. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. Most people are unconsciously manifesting from a state of lack while consciously trying to create abundance. They're writing gratitude lists while their nervous system is stuck in survival mode. They're visualizing their dream life while their body carries the cellular memory of every rejection, every disappointment, every time they felt unseen by the universe. This creates what I call vibrational contradiction. Your mind says one thing, but your energy broadcasts something completely different. And the universe, being the perfect mirror it is, reflects back your energetic truth, not your mental intentions. That's why you can do everything right and still feel like you're pushing a boulder uphill. But what if I told you there's a different way? What if instead of trying to manifest faster, you learned to stop manifesting altogether and started transmitting instead? What if instead of performing for the universe, you became someone the universe couldn't ignore? The woman I mentioned earlier discovered something profound during those 21 days of stillness. She realized she had been using manifestation as a way to prove her worth, to earn love, to feel safe in a world that had taught her she wasn't enough. Every visualization session was actually a desperate plea disguised as spiritual practice. Every affirmation was a cry for validation from a universe she secretly believed was withholding her good. So she stopped, not because she gave up on her dreams, but because she finally understood that the universe wasn't testing her worthiness. It was simply matching her frequency. And if her frequency was rooted in the belief that she had to work for love, fight for success, and prove her value, then that's exactly what the universe would continue to reflect back to her. During those 21 days, something extraordinary happened. Without the constant noise of trying to make things happen, she could finally hear what her energy was actually saying. She could feel the subtle contractions in her chest when she thought about her desires. She could sense the anxiety disguised as excitement, the fear masquerading as motivation. Most importantly, she discovered that beneath all the trying, beneath all the effort, beneath all the spiritual performance, there was already a version of herself who had everything she wanted. Not as a future possibility, but as a present reality that existed in the quantum field of infinite potential. This is what quantum physicists call superposition. The idea that all possibilities exist simultaneously until observation collapses them into reality. Your dream life, your ideal relationship, your perfect career, they all exist right now in the field of infinite possibility. The question isn't whether they're available, but whether your frequency is aligned enough to collapse them into your physical reality. And here's the paradox that changes everything. The universe doesn't respond to your need. It responds to your wholeness. The moment you stop needing something to feel complete, you become vibrational match to already having it. The moment you stop trying to get love, you become love. The moment you stop chasing abundance, you realize you are abundance. This isn't about positive thinking or fake it till you make it. This is about recognizing that your essential nature, before any story or identity or past experience, is already whole, already worthy, already connected to everything you desire. The work isn't to become someone worthy of your dreams. The work is to remember that you already are. But how do you actually do this? How do you shift from trying to transmitting, from effort to embodiment? It starts with what I call the frequency audit. For the next 24 hours, notice what signal you're actually broadcasting. When you think about your desires, what happens in your body? Do you feel expansion or contraction? Excitement or anxiety? Peace or urgency? Most people discover they've been unconsciously broadcasting static instead of a clear signal. They want love, but fear rejection. They desire success, but expect failure. They visualize abundance, but feel guilty about wanting more. These mixed signals create what quantum physicists call decoherence, where your energy becomes scattered and unfocused. The solution isn't to fight these contradictions, but to become aware of them. Awareness is the first step toward coherence. When you catch yourself in a state of lack or fear or desperation, you don't need to fix it or change it. You simply need to pause, breathe, and return to your essential wholeness. Here's a simple practice that can shift everything. Every morning, before you check your phone, before you consume anyone else's energy or agenda, sit quietly for just 3 minutes. Not to meditate or manifest or visualize, but to simply remember who you are beneath all the wanting and trying and performing. Ask yourself, what would it feel like to already be the person who has everything I desire? Not what would you do or say or think, but how would you feel? What would your energy be like? How would you move through the world? This isn't about pretending or acting as if. This is about accessing the frequency of your fulfilled self that already exists in the quantum field. Once you touch that frequency, even for a moment, you've made contact with your desired reality. You've sent a clear signal to the universe about who you're becoming. And the universe, being the perfect collaborator it is, will begin arranging circumstances to match that frequency. But here's where most people get tripped up. They touch this high frequency for a few minutes in the morning, then spend the rest of the day contradicting it with their thoughts, emotions, and actions. They access their powerful self in meditation, then return to their victim self in traffic. They feel abundant in their morning practice, then feel scarcity when they check their bank account. True transformation happens when you learn to maintain energetic coherence throughout your day. This doesn't mean being positive all the time or avoiding challenging emotions. It means staying connected to your essential wholeness, even when external circumstances seem to suggest otherwise. Every time you choose peace over anxiety, trust over control, love over fear, you're voting for your new reality. Every time you respond from your fulfilled self instead of your lacking self, you're strengthening the neural pathways and energetic patterns that align with your desires. This is what I call identity shifting, and it's the fastest way to collapse timelines. Your identity isn't just what you think about yourself. It's the energetic signature you carry, the frequency you broadcast, the assumption of self that operates below your conscious awareness. Most people try to change their external circumstances while maintaining their internal identity. They want a new job, but keep the identity of someone who struggles with money. They want a loving relationship, but maintain the identity of someone who isn't worthy of love. The universe doesn't respond to what you want, it responds to who you are. And who you are isn't determined by your past or your circumstances or your current bank account. Who you are is determined by the frequency you choose to embody in this moment. This is why that woman's 21-day experiment was so powerful. She wasn't trying to get something from the universe. She was returning to who she really was beneath all the conditioning and programming and fear. She was remembering that she didn't need to earn her good. She didn't need to prove her worth. She didn't need to convince the universe to love her. She simply needed to stop blocking the flow that was always there. And that's when the magic happened. Not because she manifested faster or harder or with better techniques, but because she finally got out of her own way. She stopped trying to control the how and when and why and started trusting the universe to orchestrate the details. She shifted from being a demanding customer to a trusting collaborator. The universe is always conspiring in your favor, always arranging synchronicities, always opening doors, always sending signs. But if your frequency is tuned to lack or fear or unworthiness, you'll miss most of these gifts. You'll interpret delays as rejections, challenges as punishments, redirections as failures. Your perception will filter reality through the lens of your dominant frequency. But when you shift your frequency to wholeness, to trust, to love, suddenly you start noticing all the ways the universe has been supporting you all along. Opportunities that were always there become visible. People who could help you suddenly appear. Ideas that could change everything start flowing through you. The universe hasn't changed, but your ability to receive has been transformed. This is what I call surrendered action. You still take inspired steps toward your dreams, but you're no longer attached to specific outcomes or timelines. You trust that the universe knows the perfect way and the perfect timing for everything to unfold. You become a co-creator rather than a control freak. And here's the beautiful paradox. The less you need your desires to happen, the faster they tend to manifest. The universe responds to freedom, not desperation. When you're energetically free, when you're whole, regardless of whether your dreams come true or not, you become irresistible to the very things you desire. So here's your invitation. For the next 7 days, practice transmitting instead of trying. Start each day by connecting to the frequency of your already fulfilled self. Throughout the day, notice when you slip into lack or fear or control, and gently return to wholeness. End each day with gratitude not for what you've received, but for who you're becoming. This isn't about giving up your dreams or lowering your standards. This is about raising your frequency to match your desires so the universe has no choice but to deliver them. This is about becoming so whole, so magnetic, so aligned that your dreams start chasing you. The universe has been listening all along, but it's not listening to your words or your visualizations or your affirmations. It's listening to your frequency. And once you learn to speak the language of vibration, once you understand how to transmit coherence instead of static, everything you've ever wanted begins to orbit around you. Not because you've finally learned to manifest correctly, but because you've finally remembered who you really are. And who you are is not someone who needs to chase dreams, but someone whose dreams are already seeking them. The universe doesn't listen differently, but now you're finally speaking its language fluently. Stop trying to manifest. Start learning to transmit. The universe is waiting for your signal.